Honey, your message came through and I swear everything inside me just broke. Stared at the screen, read your words. Once, then again and again, hoping maybe I misunderstood, but I didn't. You said, I think we need some space. And just like that, my whole world cracked. It wasn't a scream, it wasn't some dramatic goodbye. It was calm, too calm, and sometimes the quietest words caused the loudest damage. That message didn't just shake my day, it shook my mind, because everything I've been building, everything I was holding on to, started to feel like it meant less. I stopped replying to people, stopped checking in, stopped thinking clearly. I pushed people away, made choices that didn't even make sense, all because I was trying to feel something other than that ache your message left behind. I didn't mean to destroy things, but I did. I let my emotions spill out in all the wrong places. I shut down, I lashed out, I gave up on things I had worked hard for, just because I didn't know how to sit with the silence you gave me. And the worst part, it wasn't even your fault. You were honest, you were calm, but I took your need for breathing room as a sign that I was already being left. After I read your message, I didn't respond, not because I didn't care, but because I cared too much. Froze, my heart sank, but my pride stood up, and instead of saying, let's talk, I went silent. I pretended I was fine, but inside I started falling apart in ways I couldn't explain. I ignored people who loved me. I skipped meals. I left work early without a reason. I even said things to friends I can't take back. Everything felt pointless because your message didn't just say I need space to me, it said you're too much, you've already failed. And once I believed that, so I sat with that silence. Let it echo in rooms you'd never been in, let it crawl into corners of me I didn't even know were empty. And maybe that's the cruel part, how absence makes itself known, not like a bang, but a slow unraveling of routines, of joy, of me. I used to think heartbreak was noise, slamming doors, sobs into pillows, but yours was a whisper, a quiet, I need time, that felt like forever. And maybe I was too much, or maybe you were just done, but either way, I wore your message like a weight, like a wound, pretending it didn't bleed. And I know love shouldn't be begging, shouldn't be bleeding out just to be seen, but damn, I would have bled dry if it meant you'd just say, I didn't mean forever. I kept reading your words like they were a riddle I could solve, as if between the lines you'd left a secret way back, but all I found was space and silence that stretched too far to reach you. I started writing messages I never sent, drafts that lived in my notes like ghosts, whole conversations where you said you were sorry and I forgave you, where you said you missed me and I said, me too, but they were just words, just stories I wrote, because reality was quieter and so much colder. I lost pieces of myself in your pause, and I don't know if you'll ever hit play again, but if you do, you might not recognize me, because the girl you left had to learn how to hold herself after being dropped so gently. I started talking to the moon like it could rewind time, asking it if you still think of me the way I still carry you, in songs, in places, in quiet moments, when the world slows just enough for the ache to find me again. I became a shadow of the person who once laughed, without needing a reason, and it's strange how someone leaving can make you leave yourself, and maybe you didn't mean to, maybe your space was meant to be temporary, but silence has a way of planting doubts that bloom into fears, and now I water them daily. People asked if I was okay, and I said yeah, with a smile that didn't touch my eyes, because how do you explain that your heart broke without any noise? So I stopped trying, let the world believe I was healing, while I stitched up invisible wounds with threads made of memories and late night what ifs. And every time my phone lights up for a second, I still hope it's you, saying, I didn't mean it like that. But it never is, and I don't know if it ever will be. Some nights, I replay us, not the end, but the beginning, when your voice was still home, and your name felt safe in my mouth, when I didn't flinch before opening your messages, when we still existed in future tense. And I know, it's not healthy to live in echoes, but sometimes echoes are all that's left when someone walks out.
and closes the door softly behind them. I keep wondering if you ever felt even half of this, if you hesitated before sending that message, if your hands trembled like mine did. When I didn't reply, you were calm, and I was chaos in disguise, smiling in the daylight, falling apart in the dark, and I wish I could hate you, because hate is something you can hold, you can burn it, bury it, fight it, but you were kind, and that's what hurts most. You didn't leave like a villain, you left like someone trying not to, and it made it harder to let you go. So I carry this grief, quietly, politely, like it doesn't weigh 1,000 pounds, like it's just another passing sadness. But we both know, some storms don't pass, they settle in, and maybe that's what this is now, learning how to live with the storm, instead of waiting for it to end, waking up each day, with a little less weight on my chest. But still feeling the imprint of your name, like a bruise beneath my ribs. I stopped waiting for your reply, at least, I tell myself I did, because healing isn't clean, it's messy, it's breaking your own heart. When you finally delete the message, you read every night for weeks, and no one sees that part, the quiet victories, like eating dinner, or saying I'm fine, and almost believing it. Some days I still spiral, still let my thoughts crash into each other, still wonder if I was too much or not enough, but I don't stay in that place as long anymore. And maybe that's growth, not forgetting, not pretending it didn't matter, but learning how to breathe, even with the ache. And slowly, I started coming back to myself, not all at once, not with fireworks or grand revelations, but in small, quiet moments, like choosing to get out of bed, without checking if you'd reached out, like answering texts, laughing, even if the joy felt borrowed, like hearing our song, and letting it play, instead of skipping it out of spite. Grief doesn't just leave, it lingers, sits at the edge of your bed, whispers in familiar voices, but I stopped giving it the last word. I started writing again, not about you, but about me, about the girl I was before I made you home, and the one I'm learning to be, now that I've moved out of the ruins. I still miss you, but I miss myself more, and maybe that's the first real sign that I'm healing. Not when I stop hurting, but when I finally choose me, even with the ache still echoing. I won't lie and say I'm whole yet, but I'm not hollow either. I'm filling the empty spaces with new dreams, new routines, new reasons to wake up that have nothing to do with you. I'm learning to love softly again, starting with myself, speaking kinder in the mirror, choosing silence only when it heals, not when it hides the hurt. I stopped writing for the maybe you'll come back, and started writing, so I wouldn't forget how far I've come, how much I've survived, how many versions of myself I had to let go of, to finally feel my own heartbeat again. And I know now, love isn't supposed to leave you, questioning your worth, or silencing your truth. It's not supposed to feel like tiptoeing around someone else's comfort. So no, I won't shrink again, not for anyone. I've already done the breaking, the begging, the blaming, and now, I'm just becoming the kind of woman who doesn't need closure to keep walking. And maybe you'll never know the way your silence shaped me, but I do. I lived it, felt every second of that stillness, until it taught me how to make music out of it. You were a chapter, not the whole book, a lesson, not the ending.